Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Coach Kellie Speak Show. I'm your girl, Coach Kellie. We are live at Listen Visualize Studios in DC. Shout out, shout out, shout out. I love this station. It's absolutely amazing. Hospitality is always on point. And so today, we're going to talk about renewing the mindset of a champion. 5 years ago, I published my very first book called Yes, You Are a Champion, Turning Everyday Challenges into Victory. And so it is my personal journey of being homeless at the age of 20, at the age of 15, and the age of 18. And I talk about how during that process, I was still able to be successful. Of course, when you are a young person, you having your own space is very, very important. And just being displaced and not really having a home was very difficult. However, I managed to still have just have a presence within myself, having an understanding that life and struggles in life are temporary if you tell yourself that they're temporary. When you go through your different challenges in your life, you tend to put it on yourself as this is a part of my identity and not saying that this is something that I'm going through. And so I just want to encourage you on today, those of you who are watching on Facebook, Instagram, and my other channels that I have, just to encourage you today that your present situation doesn't have to be your lasting place, okay? This week I was just talking to some folks. Of course, I have a coaching program on my website. You can do private coaching with me. And I was going through one of my profiles, and a young lady who her story was very similar to my story. She went through a lot of different challenges. And I began to talk to her, and I told her, I said, a lot of times we'll build a fortress and we'll build a house in a troubled situation. When our situations are temporary, we're supposed to build a tent, not build a whole entire house around our trials. And a lot of times what makes it so hard to move forward is that we tend to nurse our situations. We tend to take them on. Like, for instance, she was diagnosed with a severe case of asthma. And so as I'm talking to her, she kept saying, I have to take my medicine because I have medicine for my asthma. And I told her, I said, you've just taken possession of asthma. And I know that it's something that you don't want to deal with forever. So why would you claim it as my asthma? And I told her that you can say the medicine, or you can just say specifically asthma, but you don't have to claim asthma as like your identity. Your identity is not found in your present situation, whether it's good or bad. Like, I'm not my hair. Yes, I have nice things. I've been able to accomplish great success, but who I am deep down inside is a God chaser. I am called by God to do what I do. I do a lot of marketplace ministry. I have various businesses. I'm an author, a speaker, a mom. I'm also a wife. And so my identity is not in any of the things that I possess, but more so my legacy and what it is that I'm going to leave behind to my next generation. When people say, who was Coach Kellie? I want it to be, she was a God chaser. She was a wonderful person. Those are the things that people know you and remember you for. Yeah, they'll remember you dressed nice, but ultimately when you are on your deathbed, you're not going to count how many shoes you have in your closet, nor are you going to even be thinking about what's in your bank account. You're going to hope and pray that your loved ones are there and that they are around you to share that moment with you as you transition. So be very intentional about what it is that you want to do and what you want your legacy to be. And so in this book, I really talk about in chapter 9, and I've sold so many of these books. A lot of people, they're really good gifts to give to someone that may be going through a transitional season, and you can't really, you may not have a lot of time to minister to them, or you may not have a lot of time to, pour into their life because you're busy, but they're really struggling. This is a great book to give away as a gift for someone who may be struggling, a young person who have seemingly, have reached maybe a stuck place in their life. And so I talk about just understanding that just because you fell down doesn't mean that you have to stay down. And I believe that, when my mom, she had me when she was a teenager, still in high school. And a lot of people told her different things to do, like you cannot go back to school, like you have to be a mom, you have to drop out of school, just all sorts of things that people told her to do. One of the things that she did, which was like a transitional thing, was she started working in a nursing home. Did she want to do that? No, that wasn't what she wanted to do. That was an idea that someone gave her, which was more so an idea just to find some type of way to make money. And a lot of people find themselves with this big dream, and they have to make a decision whether I can follow in my dreams and my goals, or I have to make money. And so you want to be careful that money is your motivation, because it will stop you from going after what it is that you want to do. Deciding to do this show, making certain decisions to be an author, there are things that I had to give up. Like I could not no longer work in my, if you don't know, I have a salon as well. I own a salon. And so I cannot be in my salon 24/7 anymore, because there's other goals that I have set for myself. So I have to reprioritize what it is that I'm doing. I have to regain my focus and say, okay, this is what I need to do, and this is what I need to focus in on, versus letting myself or allowing myself to get totally off track, being money driven. You want to be purpose driven. And you can make money in your purpose. I make money in my purpose as well. I believe that to have at least 7 streams of income, I'm like maybe 1 or 2 streams away from hitting their mark. And the reason why I say that is because the average billionaire has 7 streams of income. And so that's the way it is. And so for myself, I would tell you that the number one reason why people aren't successful is because they don't say that they are. I believe that positive confessions equals positive results and positive manifestations. You're never going to be able to manifest your dreams if you have a negative mindset. You're never going to maximize your potential if you deal in selfishness or competition. Earlier, I guess last week, I had an incident where I was talking to one of my clients, and she was so ready for her wedding to be over. And she was my second bride that month who had a lot of frustrations. And I remember telling her that this is your season to be celebrated, and this is your season of transitioning from fiance to wife. And the way you transition into your next level will determine the acceleration of your goal and the acceleration of your dream. So if you start out and you're frustrated, then your foundation will be frustrating. So you want to make sure that your foundation is solid. And the only way to do that is to practice emotional intelligence, which is emotional intelligence is the ability to look at logic over your emotional state. So when you're planning and you're preparing for your next levels, you're preparing to write a book, you want to make sure that you transition well. You don't want to be frustrated trying to write a book, because then your book is going to be rushed. If you want to do a CD, say you are a songstress or a songwriter, and you decide that you want to work on a project, it's going to be very important to take things out of your sphere of influence or your mind space, so that you can really give it your all and present the most authentic signature that you can. And so the next thing in renewing the mindset of a champion is reclaiming your destiny. What is it that you started out with? When you say you did a vision board, you went to a vision board party, or you had this long list of goals that you wrote out in 2017, and you had a resolution. We all start out with a New Year's resolution. Well, what was your New Year's resolution? Was your resolution to lose weight? Was it to not eat meat? Like my resolution this year was to my goal is to be a vegetarian, pescatarian, I think, eating fish and something. And so that's my goal. My goal is to eliminate meat, eliminate carbs, so that I can maintain my weight. So I went to a party over the weekend, and lo and behold, there's a full spread of anything that you can eat, from chicken to beef to steak, just all of those different things. So the temptation for me to eat it was great because I was hungry, but I had to think about my goal and my dream of to stay a certain size, right? And so I don't want to, and the reason why is all out of vanity. I don't want to buy any new clothes right now, and I want to just maintain my weight and have a healthy lifestyle. And so I noticed earlier part of the year, or well, I'll go back to 2016, I was eating everything: chips, Kool-Aid, anything high sugar, sodas, Pepsi, all kinds of stuff. I was eating anything I wanted to. And then I started watching, like, all of my clothes were smaller and smaller. And so I had to make a decision, like, I have to make those sacrifices. And so the same thing with your physical diet and maintaining your physical health. It's the same with your mental, emotional, and your business health. So you have to be very, very mindful of that. Another thing that I see a lot of times is that we neglect to recycle our concepts and our ideas and our business plan. That's why it's so important to write a business plan. And I talk about that in my 30-minute business journal, talking about staying focused on your individual business plan, your life plan, your business plan, your plan for parenting, your plan for your marriage, your plan for dating. You said that you are going to go on this amount of dates, and you will go places, and you will go mingle more. And now you're just stuck in a house watching Netflix, and you're not engaging, and you're not hanging out. And so unless you think that, your dream husband is going to be the UPS person, it's important to get out and have fun and go and mingle, go on the Weekender and go on different websites and subscribe to Eventbrite, so that you can know, like, what events are going on, so that you can regain your focus on exactly what it is that you want to do. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is mentoring. On yesterday, I was teaching, because I teach at my church, and I was teaching about mentorship and how the whole point was, it was about respect. And it was about respecting borders and boundaries and respecting people. And so one of the stories that I was talking about was Saul and David. And that conversation needs to be had, because there's a lot of people who will mentor you, and they'll allow you to work with them, and they'll allow you to assist them and things like that. But when it comes time for them to launch out and do something different, from a mentor side, you can struggle with releasing them out to do something else. And as a mentor, I know for myself, I've had dozens of mentees, and at some point they feel like, I'm going to venture off, I'm going to pursue my dreams, and I'm going to, take off and go to the level that I pushed them to go. And so for me, I think that is very important when you are mentoring people to be conscious that at some point they will leave you. At some point, they're going to transition to another place. And you have to be comfortable with knowing that they may not ever come back. They may not give you a thank you. They may not ever shout you out. They may surpass you, they may do better than you, and so be very cognizant of that, because I see a lot of people who say things like, I helped this person and they just went their way and they never look back to say thank you. Just make sure that when you have that mindset of a champion, that you don't try to hold on to people, because people will leave, and it is just a real thing. It's a real thing that's going to happen. And those of you who have mentors that you look up to, that, because I heard someone say, I had a mentor, and then, some of my mentors' clients, or they started looking at me to work with. And it's going to happen. I know for myself, it has happened to me. One of my mentors, one of her clients decided to come and visit me, and I was very clear, like, I'll, work with you, I'll style you, but I wanted to make sure that person knew, like, this environment is not to bash that person. This environment is not to talk about that person, but I'm very clear that you have to have loyalty in order to be successful and maintain your success, because character is important, and the way you leave is important. The way you leave a season is important. And we're talking about renewing the mindset of a champion. A champion doesn't just walk away and don't say thank you to someone who has helped them. A champion is not going to be in competition with their mentor. A champion is going to give and pay homage to what homage is due. And so I was looking at the fight the other day with Floyd Mayweather and McGregor, I think that's his name. And I noticed that Floyd's father was in the ring with him, and he was talking to him, and he was saying, like, I'm so proud of you, son. You have this. You got this. Remember what I told you. And Floyd Mayweather turned to him, and he looked up, and he says, I'll never forget what you told me from the very beginning. Like, when I first started fighting, like, I remember our conversation. So he let him know, like, it's because of you that I'm here. And despite the fact that, I'm this mega successful person, I owe a lot of it to you. So I think that is important to look out for those who have helped you along the way, and not to be in a place of competition, because competition is one of the primary reasons why people lose business connections, friends, just all sorts of things. And I talked about that last week. I did a Facebook Live called Don't Call Me Sis, Who Stole Your Celebration? And as a mindset, to have a mindset as a champion, although you realize that you have people around you that may share in your industry space, doesn't automatically make them your competition, doesn't automatically make you feel that you have to compete against them or beat them. But it's good that there's going to be people in your space. Like, I have a lot of business owners that share my industry space. I know friends who are authors. I have friends who are motivational speakers, and I support them. I have a whole entire book. I have about 4 bookshelves in my house, and they're full of books from my friends, people I don't know that share my industry space. And so I support others that share my industry space. I'm not upset when I see them, selling books. Like, it doesn't bother me, because I understand that in every industry there's space for you. And so thinking like a champion and renewing your mind as a champion, have this understanding that there's going to be someone that may have something better than you, and that's okay. That's when you can glean from that person, or you can, like, straight up go to them and say, hey, I may be struggling with my point of sale system. Can you help me? I have an alliance of other boutique owners that I currently talk to. I had a friend who, she didn't have a website. So I told her, hey, this is what I did. I actually created her website for her. And we share industry space. I had another lady who wasn't so savvy on social media. So I gave her some tips on hashtags, and I gave her some social media tips. Just a plug, I do have a social media coaching program on my website on CoachKellie.net. and I would teach you how to run your social media. I teach you how to, attract the people, how to lead, how to monetize your posts, knowing what social media platform works for you, knowing what social media platform just don't even waste your time with. I know for myself, starting out on MySpace, I think that was one of the first ones that I started out with. Like, I noticed, like, over time, like, I wasn't able to monetize it, so I had to move on. I know for me, I tried LinkedIn. It just didn't work. When I went over my Google analysis, it just didn't work for me, so I just stopped posting on there. Twitter is great for those who may have, like, you're a speaker and you like to do cute little quotes. I think that that's a great segue, and social media is very important. So that's one of the things that I do. I have entire business where I help you to gain followers and people that will help you to, monetize your posts. You don't have to have millions of followers to be successful at it. You can have 1,000, and if 500 of those people actually connect with you, they like what you do, you're going to be able to monetize in your community, okay? And so just talking about regaining your integrity. Well, integrity for me is key. It's very important in business, because what happens a lot of times is the reason why people walk out of your business is because you don't have integrity. Your contracts say one thing, and when they come around you to get the service, it's nothing like it. I know that we're in a society of filters, but be very careful not to do so many filters that you can't represent your work. I remember going to a makeup artist, and she did my makeup, and I was so excited to sit in her chair. And when she did my makeup, I looked at it looked a mess. Like, I was like, okay, like, she really misrepresented her brand, and I guess she used filters for all of her pictures, but it just looked a mess to me. And I was like, she definitely is using filters, because her kit wasn't even on point. But anyway, not to throw her no shade or nothing like that, but I'm only using that as an example to say that if you are in business, make sure that you have integrity. Make sure that you are there when you say you're going to be there. Make sure if you're not going to be there, say you're not going to be there. Don't leave somebody stranded or hanging, saying, okay, you have a contract as a photographer for a wedding and you don't show up at all. Like, you can't expect to win if you don't have integrity. Integrity trumps talent all day long, because I believe that the reason why I personally was able to transition into different industries is because I had a community of women who just believed in me. They knew that if I really didn't know how to do it, I would say it. Like, I really don't know how to do it. I would try my best, and I would use terminology like, I would try my best. I'm just, I'm just starting to get used to this. Like, I use terms for them to know, like, I'm not an expert yet, but I will do my best. If a client will come with a picture, I would never sell them a dream like, you're going to look like this person. Like, I try to communicate as much as I can, because customer service is about integrity. I just had a situation with a girl who came to my clothing store, and she was so happy because I posted a picture of, like, I think one of my clients with a bag, and she says, I just was happy to know that it was a real store, because I have shopped online boutiques and I would pay my money and I never got my items. And I would try to reach out to them. They would not respond back. I would email them. They wouldn't respond back. So be very intentional, and make sure that you're operating in integrity. Like, if you don't have that item, don't take someone's money and then just fly, like, never reach back out to them, because what happens is it's going to catch up to you. I have had so many people come to my store and talk about other boutiques because they wouldn't respond back to them, or they would sell them something and it will look nothing like the picture, and when they come back to get their money back, like they wouldn't even talk to them. So just be very intentional about what it is that you're doing. And as a business coach, I talk about integrity over everything else. Like, you can show me your brand, you can show me how fancy your business card is, and I love that. But your character is your brand. So if your character is bad, then you have a bad brand. And your word is everything. Like, I can't drive that point in enough. Like, it is just so important. And so we're going to take a quick break, and after we come back from break, we're going to talk about how to revamp the mindset of a champion. Hello everyone, it's your girl Coach Kellie from the Coach Kellie Speaks Talk Show. I'm here to talk about my brand new book, the 30-Day, 30-Minute Visionary Journal, Awakening the Finisher Within. I wrote this book because I wanted to inspire other people to be finishers in their own personal journey of business and everyday life. So writing this book has really helped me to organize my thoughts a lot better, and has also just made me look at things different and not put so much pressure on myself, because before I would try to compile so much information in at one time, but now it has slowed my pace down a lot, and I'm able to really plan things out in a 30-minute manner. And so I think that now, with different projects that I'm working on, I feel that I'm a little more confident in what it is that I'm doing because I've actually planned it out better. So I hope that people who get this book will have a deeper appreciation for, number one, who they are, what they've been called to, and the people group that they've been called to as well. I also want people to have a clear and step-by-step guide to how to fight against fear and procrastination. I hope that this book will help you to win in each and every level of your life, each and every area of your life. I want this book to change the way you see yourself. When you look yourself in the mirror, that you won't see yourself through the eyes of fear, but that you'll see yourself through the eyes of faith, knowing that you are a finisher and that you will finish each and every project that you put your hands on. I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you, gracias, because without you, I would not be able to do what I do, what I love every day, from styling my clients to the boutique, and now my new show, the Coach Kellie Speaks Talk Show. This has been an exciting journey for me. I'm inspired by each and every last one of your comments, how you share my posts, going on to YouTube, leaving comments, just all of that just warms my heart every time I read it. And so I wanted to just let you know that you can buy my book on my website at www.coachkelliespeaks.net. Thank you again for tuning in, and I love you guys so much. Thanks. Welcome back, guys. So, what was we talking about? Okay, we was talking about, the last thing I talked about was regaining your integrity in business. And I said we'll talk about revamping. That's what we talked about. So, in revamping your business and in revamping your mindset, because one of the things about success is an absolute mindset. You cannot be successful if you have not renewed your mind. You cannot have a mindset as an employee and be a CEO. Like, you cannot. So you have to realize that as a entrepreneur, as an author, like anything that you want to do, like you have to do it as if it's your full-time job. Even if it's something that you do on the side, like you can't make it about, this is something that I do on the side. Like, I kind of cook a little bit on the side, or I kind of, do hair a little bit on the side. Like, as long as you use that mindset, and as long as you have that mindset, like, you're never going to go to a corporate level. So if you want to somehow one day have contracts with the government, and you may cook, or you may want to have a contract with a major brand, you want to carry yourself as such. So this is, I want to say, show 19 for me, and every week I want to do something better. I want to I study, I'm learning, I'm seeing what other shows are doing. Just staying on the cutting edge is what I'm saying. So just be very intentional. Like, okay, so you may say, well, I don't have the money. Well, guess what? For me, early on in my business, like, one of the things that I would do is I would go out and I would go and do networking events, free events in the community, and I would pass out my business cards. They have so many different resources. Vistaprint, not to plug them, but Staples, just so many different avenues where you can actually get business cards and flyers, and you can do free advertising. You can go on your social media. If you don't know social media and it's something that you may struggle with, and you see yourself really not monetizing like you want, reach out to me. You can reach out to me, Coach Kellie Speaks at gmail.com. And you can literally, I can help you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. My book, The 30-Day Visionary Journal, I talk about how visionaries are all over the place. We tend to kind of like have a lot of tabs open. And so one of the ways to revamp your mindset is to declutter, okay? So if your mind is cluttered, so with everything else. So the other day I was cleaning out my closet, and it's something that I do like every 3 months, so that it helps me to get ready earlier in the morning. Like, I don't have one shoe over here and one shoe over there. Like, I like to keep my closet organized, and I believe that your closet is a clue or indicator to your emotional state. So if your closet is junky, shoes everywhere, then it probably has resurfaced in another area of your life, okay? And so in revamping that, I want you to just how what I do with my closet. I pull everything out, and I put all my shoes on one side, all my jackets on one side, all of my pants at the bottom. So I'm able to compartmentalize it and put it all in order. Same thing with your mindset, okay? Having a mindset of a champion, okay? And so organize your thoughts. How do you organize your thoughts? By getting a journal. Invest in a journal. And if you don't have a journal, all of my books are journal books. All of my books are journal books. So I have actual space for you to take notes. So I'll ask you questions. Like, one of these says, get out of the ruts. In order to be someone's miracle, you have to get out of the rut. Get up, move, stretch, exercise daily, read at least one book per week. That may seem like a lot to somebody, but for me, I love reading. And it says that all the resources that you need are around you. And you can Google. Like, Google is like the new encyclopedia, I guess. Like, you can just go and say how to run this kind of business, how to run that kind. Like, it's information everywhere. So don't make excuses. Don't allow pride to take away from your progress. No one is too big to ask for help. Ask for help. That's one of the things. And so in my book, I have space for every day of the week, and Sunday is a work day. Saturday can be a work day. Instead of spending your whole Sunday or Saturday watching TV, you can spend your Sunday coming up with just ideas. Like, what did I do today to help me get out of the rut? Because one of the things about having a mindset of a champion is that I've met with several individuals who they see me doing great in business, and they'll inbox me and they'll say stuff like, Coach Kellie, I just feel like I just kind of, it seems like they'll always say something like, I feel like I'm stagnant, or the world has just kind of like, is moving too fast and I just can't keep up. And one of the things that I always say is the first thing to do is stop everything. Don't do anything. Stop everything. Shut everything down and spend 30 days in stillness and quietness with a pen and a piece of paper and one of the books, right? And so the first thing to do is to shut it down. The second thing to do is to think. Ask yourself what it is that I need to do between now and next week that can help me to organize and put everything together. If you don't have a vision board, that's one of the things that I talk about in my book as well, is that, and all of my books are on my website. They're all $15. One of the things that I talk about is understanding when you have the champion mindset, it's going to sound like it when you open up your mouth. So you're going to move from saying words like I'm trying to, I'm fixing to, I'm thinking about it, to I am doing it. You're going to use actually verbs like I've done it, I've tried it. Like you're going to talk like that. Like I'm on my way, I'm doing this, and I contacted this person. Like if you want to be on Oprah, send her email. Like stop saying, well, one day when I meet this person, and when I meet this person, and when I meet this person, you are the person. So get into the mind space of success. Successful people get up early. You cannot sleep in to 12 o'clock in the daytime on a Saturday and do nothing and expect for your business to move. It's not going to move. You have to move your business. You have to push your business forward. So one of the things that I did this season, I went on different websites. I have my own website for one of my businesses, but I decided to sell all of my closeout clothing on eBay. So I decided, I'll do eBay. So I tried a different avenue. And a lot of people, they'll just get stuck in one vehicle. And once that vehicle has slowed down or it stopped, they'll say, well, I tried to do a business and it just didn't work out. No, you have to keep going and come up with another idea. And so if you have to practice silence, and I tell people practice silence, use your emotional intelligence, logic versus emotion. Emotion will tell you to quit. Logic says, well, what can we try next? Like, what is your next? What is your next for yourself? What do you want to do in the next 3 months? Set these small term goals so that the bigger ones, you can kind of chop them down. So for me, I always say celebrate each phase of completion. So if you break it down in a series, instead of trying to eat all the cake at one time, if you slice it in pieces, it'll make it easy for you to actually accomplish it. So in accomplishing my goal of completing 3 books, so what I did was I says, every August, I'll publish a book. So I'll have 365 days of writing. So if I'm at the doctor's office, so instead of me trying to wait until August to write, what I do is any downtime that I have, I'm using my cell phone. I'm talking to my cell phone. I'm writing into my cell phone. Like some people may say, oh, well, are you texting? No, I'm writing. Like if I am waiting for my kids to get out of school and I may show up maybe say 10 or 15 minutes early, I'll sit in the car with a pen and a piece of paper and I'm coming up with ideas. And so you want to maximize your time, maximize your moments. Don't wait and say, well, when I get the time, I'm going to sit down and write. No, you have to bring your goals into your everyday life. Because if you don't, life will pass you by. It'll be 10 months. Before you know it, it'll be 10 years later and you still haven't completed it. And so one thing for me, I believe that you can eat the whole cake. Just break it up. And so that's why all of my projects that I have been writing, it starts out with 30 days and 30 minutes. So You don't have to use your whole day for your goals. You can break them down in 30-minute increments per day and say, well, for 30 minutes, I'm going to work on writing. The next 30 minutes tomorrow, I'm going to work on writing. And you have a month worth of practicing something for 30 days in 30 minutes, and you can execute it. And in my books, I'm giving you step-by-step instructions. Like, it's like I'm basically taking you by the hand saying, okay, well, day 1, we're going to do this. Day 2, we're going to do this. Day 3, we're going to declutter. What is it in your life that's cluttered? Because that is what's stealing your creative space. Your creative space is taken up largely with time thieves, and finding the time thieves. One of the things that I do whenever I'm coaching someone is that we do a journal, a time journal. Like, what did you do on Sunday? What did you do on Monday? How much idle time did you spend on the phone or texting or on social media? Because social media is a time thief. Like, you can literally be on Instagram for 14 hours a day, just strolling, your finger just going, no productivity. You haven't liked a picture. You haven't connected with someone that may have like interests. For me, I interact with different people if I see that they're doing something that I like, or I find inspiration, but I'm very limited. So I'll say, well, I'll just go here and just engage with my followers, or, those people. I'll go and look on their page, and lo and behold, I'll see one of my outfits and I'll do a glam girl spotting, right? But if I wasn't intentional about that, then I would have missed that opportunity. So be very intentional about what it is that you're doing each day and writing it out. So one of the things that I do in the morning is I go into my, I have a playbook that I purchased, and it's like every single day, what am I going to do? What goals am I going to accomplish every single day? So my day is generally planned out a week in advance, sometimes a month in advance, but most of the time, like, I sit down on Sunday and say, okay, well, Tuesday is my day to wash my clothes or whatever. If I don't have the cleaning person to come, I'll clean up. So that's one of the things that I'm always intentional about, is my time, because time is valuable. Time is a commodity. One thing I notice a lot of times is that people who have nothing to do are time thieves. Like, if they have nothing to do, they're not working on any projects, they'll come into your office and they're just talking because their work is done. They don't have anything to do, but you have something to do. So you can abruptly say, hey, that's so good, I'll call you later, and get off the phone, or send them out of your office so that you can finish your projects. The ability to finish something is really a part of who you are. It has to be in your DNA to be a finisher. Like, you have to say confessions of faith. I'm a finisher. I'm going to finish my projects. By the end of this year, I'll be exactly where I want to be. Next month is going to be the best month of my life. You have to set yourself intentionally. And one of the things I have in my in this book that I'm talking about is I'm trying to get to it now. It's understanding that, and it could be something, I guess, for instance, for debt. One of the things I know, I paid off $55,000 worth of debt in 2 years. It seemed like a lot, like when I first started, but I broke it down. So the first thing I did was I wrote everything out, from the least to the greatest amount of money that I owed. And every day, like, I would speak to my debt journal, right? And I would say, okay, I have this. If I get extra tips, then I would send it in. There was no visitation of the mall. There was no visitation of high-end restaurants. When my family and I went out to dinner, we shared meals. We were very intentional about how we were going to attack the $55,000. So I think a lot of times what happens is that you start off right, but if you don't have a ultimate, like, if you don't have it written down, it's just a thought. And so that's why in this journal, in all of my journals that I have written, I have space for writing because you believe more of what you say than anyone else. So I can tell you all day long what to do. Oh, you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're going to be successful. I can say it to you all day long, but it's not until you write it, post it somewhere on a wall, and when you go by, or maybe you put it on your refrigerator, you walk by, you'll see your affirmations. I am successful. I am on top. Every delay is in my favor. We always win in everything that we do. Like every day, set a clear affirmation and set yourself to begin to speak life into yourself. And a champion speaks to themselves. I know for a fact, like just me, I'm watching the journey of Mayweather, who I think he is in the epitome of an athlete. He trains, he eats right. Yes, he does a lot of spending, but he literally, like, he consumes himself in his craft. And so that is why he's so successful, and that's why he is undefeated. That's because he has a mindset of a champion. A champion is not going to say, I don't feel well, so I'm not going to work out today. A champion that knows they have a fight coming up is not going to eat a whole bag of Doritos. Like, they're just not going to do that. Like, they're going to eat the right foods, high protein foods, lots of tuna, lots of nuts, lots of protein shakes and all of those things. Like, that's what they do. That's what they eat. A champion is not going to say, I'm not going to, I'm not going to go to, I don't know. They're not going to go to the gym. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to go to the gym. So I am just so excited because I just want you to really take on the things that I'm saying. And this is why I decided to do the show, because I wanted to create a forum for us to talk. And if you have any questions, you can put it on Facebook. I would love to answer it if it's something that you may be struggling with. And maybe you feel like there's a glass ceiling. Maybe you feel like, I don't know if I want to do this, and I may want to retire early, but I don't know what to do. Like, I don't have a next plan. Like, I don't have a plan of action for my goals. And matter of fact, you can inbox me and say, I just want all 3 books. And so if you get all 3 books, it's like $45 for all 3 of my books. The first book is really just talking to you about transitioning into purpose. It's talking about how to beat the odds. It's talking about, me being homeless. It doesn't mean that I was hopeless. And the whole thing is, when you get into like a rut or a situation where it's like, nothing's moving, and like my account is on E, like, what do I do? Like, how can I make money and I don't have any money? So I talk about that also in my book. I talk about what I did when I was in a situation and I started a business without any money. And people, it's funny because when I tell people that, they're like, oh, there's no way that you can start a business without money. Okay, you can. So, and then also I wanted to talk to you guys about registering for a free course that I have on the CoachKellieSpeaks.net website. When you go into my website and subscribe, you will receive a free 7-week financial freedom workshop. And I talk about my journey to debt freedom, how I paid off the $55,000. Every time I say it and I think about it, as I got my notices in that, it was totally paid, every letter, like, I would post it next to, like, my bill, and like when I first started out. And it took me 24 months to do it, and I broke it down and I found creative ways to save money. So couponing is a great way to save money. It takes time, and you do have to buy the paper. So I think it may be, at the time, I think it was like $1.75, and I bought the Sunday paper. And for my Friday nights, instead of me going to say Ruth Chris for dinner, my family and I would cut coupons. That was like our thing to do on Fridays. Me and my kids, that's how we bonded over. We cut coupons together. And so instead of me spending, $35 on dish detergent or whatever, I would find a way where not only was I couponing, I started to get cash back. So I became a coupon expert. And so I know like how to work those coupons, and I actually have it on my website, like ways to coupon. So if you go on to the Coach Kellie Speaks Savings Plan on Facebook, and just hit like. I think you have to like a few pictures, and I help you. I can show you how to pay off debt. There's different links on there for investing 101. It may be some clips from our last financial workshop that I had. I actually did a free financial workshop, I guess about a month or two ago, and it went very well. But I find that people that came, they wasn't really intentional about following up with me. So if you were at my workshop and you have a testimonial, please leave it on the Coach Kellie Speaks.net website. I would love to hear from you to see where you are and your progress. And yeah, so don't forget to go on to the Facebook page, Coach Kellie. I'm going to have to say it again. Coach Kellie Speaks Savings Club. There's quick tips on how to pay your mortgage off early, your car note. Like I always like say, I guess the average car note is like between 3 and 4 years. But I always pay them off within 2 years. Like there's a whole strategy, and it's on my website, and it's also on my Facebook page. And you can go on there, but you have to I think 2 things in order to see it come through your timeline. And but just getting back to having the mindset of a champion, I'm going to just do a quick review, and then I'm going to be out of here. But in renewing your mindset of a champion, you want to make sure that you are reclaiming your destiny, making sure that you're claiming it, that you're sending out frequencies in the atmosphere, in the universe, that I am claiming my wealth. Like I am a wealthy person. And making sure that you're able to refocus. If you have a journal, if you have a vision board, go back to it, regain your focus on it again. If you've kind of had a good business and then you kind of lost your integrity, go back and regain your integrity. Revamp, make sure that you pull out your ideas, that you go under reconstruction, because sometimes in business you have to reconstruct it. If you guys have ever been in my salon, you know, you'll come in February and it will be totally reconstructed by April. I'm always changing it around. I'm always making improvements. I'm buying new things, investing in new parts of my business. And that's why I think the business is really going well, because I never get stagnant. I don't let anything in my shop become dusty, because I'm always moving stuff around. The dust is never settled in my shop because I'm constantly moving things around. I'm constantly revamping it. I do client surveys. Please do client surveys. They have client surveys all over the place, but do surveys, because a client or a customer, they may not tell you something. They may say, I've been going there. But if you ask them and say, hey, what could I do to make it better? And I remember sending out an email to all of my customers, my whole entire email list, and says, I need you to do a survey. Just say what you like about my services. What do you don't like? How can you, improve? And just all of those things. And so my website is www.coachkelliespeaks.net. For those of you who are connected to me on Facebook and Instagram, you can catch all of the replays on my YouTube channel at Coach Kellie Speaks. It's just Coach Kellie Speaks on YouTube. And go onto my website and leave some testimonials as well. And so thank you so much. My makeup artist is Akil Beauty. She's on Instagram. She makes sure that my faces be every single Monday. And just shout out to Listen Vision Live Studios for hosting this show. And that's it. And I will see you guys on next Monday. Bye.